let's meet the world number 7, KUAIMAN from China. And the next, the world number 4, Chongqing from China.
Chongqing has entered the arena. Chongqing is as fast and smooth as butter on a train. I was just gonna say butter, but butter isn't notoriously fast. But that jacket's got the butter color. Li Xiaolong, Bruce Lee in the house. It's an all-Chinese affair here, and KUAIMAN will be battling against Chongqing. They've had battles in recent history, and spectacular battles at that. Actually, such a memorable match that's where I feel like KUAIMAN, to me, sealed her fate, her future. If she's not world number 1 in her lifetime, that would be an absolute shock. A best of 5 match to come. First player to win 3 games wins the match. They're head-to-head, 2-2 in WTT. So on the big stage, the world number 4, Chongqing, 50-50. With the wild card here, making her debut, the world number 7, KUAIMAN, earned my respect faster than almost anybody with their last encounter. We'll show you a little bit of that, remind you of it after the coin toss here. So KUAIMAN wins the coin toss. The table is set. So this was not long ago, Singapore Smash. This is the last time they faced. So this was in the quarterfinals. Chongqing up 9-5 in game number 6.
10-5.
10-5 to 10-8.
10-9.
Okay, process that for a minute. Game point saved. 5 of them. 5 in a row from 5-10 down. Now she's got match point, KUAIMAN. And what did she do? She won 7 straight points to deter the decider. There would be no game 7, so a 4-2 victory. Man, Xie Ying is going to be the one officiating from the high chair. Took care of the coin toss. KUAIMAN, it is not easy. Chongqing has beaten Xinyin Xia in recent history. The 27-year-old is still one of the best players in the world, currently world ranked number 4. And KUAIMAN saving that many game points. Zheng Yijing played an incredible match earlier on. Zheng Yijing fighting to take a game, but 3-1, and then Xin Yubin put up her fight, but Chongqing 3-0. A lot of close games. Chongqing has been a part of spectacular matches time and time again. KUAIMAN on the other side, 21 years old, 5 titles to her name. It's not quite the Shandong show with her yet. Will she have her own series? Well, she's taken a whole lot of titles in recent history. Min Young Ji of Australia put up a fight, 3-0. KUAIMAN was next level. Maria Xiao, just the same. Maria Xiao's playing some wonderful table tennis to make it through to the round of 16, but KUAIMAN would be her fate, her destiny. Prize money, you like it? Pick one. Pick any one you want. 60,000, 30, 16, 12.5. Not too shabby here. The worst you can do at this point is lead with $12,500. But they're both looking for 60,000. KUAIMAN with 55% of the vote here. 5 out of every 9 or so. 45 on the other side. The remainder, not a bad slice of that pie. Pizza, whatever it is, it's not health food, but it's delicious. And this match should be the same. It might get your heart rate up. That's why we watch.
KUAIMAN to serve. Level.
KUAIMAN will start it off with the serves in this best of 5. The last best of 5 match we will see in this event.
One, out.
The touch play, KUAIMAN controlling the short parts of the table. Doing well to convert her serve. Change of pace and the placement's just right. Chongqing not afraid to try something new. Not that change of pace is a new thing, but For many of the top women in the world, especially from Team China, speed is unrivaled.
1-2.
Now, for a guy who's not into predictions, I will also say that it wouldn't surprise me if there was a yellow card if this match is close. These two take their time before their serves to make sure they're very clear on their plan.
2-4.
And a good deep serve to that middle as KUAIMAN turns, tries to step around, put some pressure on early. There's the power. Every shot from Chongqing in this rally was fairly flat on the racket. You could hear just the difference in sound quality from the brushing spin shots to the safe one where you show more surface area on the racket to make sure you contact cleanly.
2-3.
Meaning the racket was a little bit closer to perpendicular to the ground of the table as opposed to closed the way they do when they have topspin coming in. They want to counter back. Perfect length. KUAIMAN shuts down the attack with that half-long push. Chongqing had a change of heart. Keep your eyes on Chongqing. Nope, can't attack it. And that's when KUAIMAN takes advantage, gets her opponent up on one foot. Solid opening swing, gets the long ball for that clearance behind the table. She was squeezing the rubber there as if it was freshly glued on to make sure that it was pressed flat to the blade.
Chongqing
with a good start here. Remember, this is a best of 5. Last time they played was best of 7. A bit faster here. This first game more important to the overall outcome.
4-5.
Interesting. KUAIMAN's serve comes long enough for a clean opening, but the positioning was uncomfortable, so Tong couldn't play it powerfully. It was a bait shot. Step around if you want, but then I'll have the cross court waiting for your wide forehand.
5-0.
This looked like a serve from 1992 to me in terms of the free hand. Could have just been the camera angle. Right in near the body. KUAIMAN, 2 big points on serve.
Six, 5.
And despite having an attack, a slow and spinny one on the point before, Chongqing here playing the soft touch. A little bit deep on the table, a little bit late to do it, but that's part of the reason it was so surprising she could keep it that short. While you want to stay closer to the table, the way KUAIMAN did, as Ma Junpeng looks on with 3 of the next in line for Team China. It's also more pressure. Keep the racket high, you get less time for backswing. Power for power, forehand to forehand, a special occasion in a fast women's game. It's KUAIMAN to control. Quick pivot, the transition from backhand to forehand, so fast. Ooh, the power. Little flex here from someone with a dry sense of humor. One of the best, though. If you ever have a chance to talk to Tong Tong, she's hilarious.
7-9.
Getting close to the business end of the game here in game number 1. KUAIMAN earning herself a point on receive to set up 2 serves to potentially go level. Oh, the defense. Tong Tong wraps around this, pulling a statue block on the backhand side. Get ready for a post. Whoop. Turns it all the way back like a rear view mirror. And it sets up 3 game points. Into the middle, solves the riddle, and game 1 is done and doner. It's a 1-0 lead for Tong Tong in a battle with no coaches on benches, as both players represent the most dominant nation in the game, Team China. So Tong Tong with the first in the bag needs 2 more, but KUAIMAN on the other side has shown her resilience game 2 after this.
Second game. Chengxingtong to serve. Level.
Tong Tong back for the action to start off game number 2. After a solid win with 4 points separation from the person on her tail. KUAIMAN on receive here in game 2. Beautiful shot into the edge of the racket, but it's the parallel, the short side. The risk pays off. Good response to a quick flick. That forehand inside the table means the body weight is way in. Chongqing Tong sends it right back to baseline.
Now 3.
Touch game. 3 points up here. Timeouts tend to come later in the match with no coach on the bench. Nice half long. Long enough to get the opponent to go for the attack, but not have comfortable space to take it. But a spanking here. She gets up on 1 foot. The flat hit with the forehand flick. Kill. Clever idea to try and keep it short. That pose, you gotta love it. Holds it for a minute just in case. Little gift from Tong Tong. It's interesting how control comes and goes in a rally. Tong Tong gliding around behind the table. Fast, smooth as always. But still, KUAIMAN with the racket high, stays close, takes the angles. Pressure with the forehand. I've mentioned this throughout the week. If you've been with us the whole time, congratulations. I'm sure you've enjoyed it thoroughly. The women's game tends to be more backhand dominant because it's so fast. Women stay closer to the table. They need to recover quickly. And the backhand, unlike tennis, is from right in front of the body. You don't play it from your side. So that means it's a much more compact stroke and quicker to recover from.
2-5.
Parallel. In these forehand to forehand battles, because it's a righty versus lefty, that will happen more and more. Left-handed players tend to have an advantage Some parents will even make sure that their child picks up a racket with their left hand, and if they pick it up with their right, they'll be like, let's try the left again.
6-2.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. And like many things, not all things, later in life, kids go, wow, I didn't understand it then, but I'm really thankful now. KUAIMAN trailing by 4. Patterns unpredictable. Twice lightning strikes to the forehand. And then right back the opposite way as soon as it comes in parallel. Chongqing has been stretched to that deep backhand on a few occasions, yet she leads by 3. I think the key word there was few. KUAIMAN, the touch, the feeling in this rally. An awkward slow ball with a bit of side spin on it. KUAIMAN leaving something surprising to deal with for Chongqing, a rhythm breaker.
4-6.
Slow, spinny, and shallow. Triple S, the triple threat. Chongqing handles this with a very fine contact there to the shallow backhand. Keeps herself in position well, too, to respond to a cross-court shot should it come down.
8-4.
This is a player here that knows what it's like to have a sizable lead and wants to leave nothing to chance. You saw the replays, 10-5 in game number 6. Singapore wasn't long ago. For many of these players, only the best in the world are here. That was the last time they played on the WTT stage here inside the Infinity Arena. Second towel break their back.
9-4.
Into the crossover, that target. Anything you can do to get your opponent to hesitate, cost them time, and therefore quality. Just a bit more pressure, a bit more predictability for you. They take their time. A good exchange here, but a much needed point. The conversion rate is going to have to be a different one here. KUAIMAN's got a long way to go. Right into the middle, finding the elbow of Chongqing. Little fortune here, but it sets up 5 game points for a 2-0 lead. What an answer. Corner to corner and coast to coast. She glides and moves, faint like a ghost. And Chongqing, with a 2-0 lead, is 1 game away from a cold dish served. That's right, the main course from the chef, revenge. KUAIMAN will fight. She's got what it takes to come back, and it's only 3 games away. The question is, will the mentality, will the ice in the veins come back in game number 3? Stay right here to find out. Here's a look at the top 10 as of week number 11. Sun Ying-sha standing tall, but let's focus on the 2 on screen there. Chongqing on the left, number 4 spot with 4,250 points. KUAIMAN 3,020. So with a big event here, could pass by Chongqing, but the way things are looking right now, Chongqing could pass by Wang Yidi, or could she? Well, it depends what dissolves. Points expire. It's not just how much you gain here this week. It's what's expiring as well from your points from the previous year. 12-month cycles move quickly. Those world rankings are volatile. They change quickly. You can catch them every Tuesday on your WTT app. I keep mine on my home screen. Tee-hee. KUAIMAN to serve down 0-2.
Love 1.
But a good push to the backhand, and more so the positioning of Chongqing in this rally keeps her prepared for a 3rd ball attack.
1-0.
Steady spin this time around. It's amazing to me that these players stay so ready to move so quickly, to burst with power when they have the opportunity, yet there's little to no panic.
One, two.
Nice combination from the corners to the middle here, right into the elbow. KUAIMAN finding an answer. One deep, the opposite way. She's got her opponent stretched. When you have to travel that far, the footwork, just so much required. It's tough to get centered and rebalanced. I'm impressed. KUAIMAN in this point was in a tough position because Chongqing gave two very awkward first balls. Plays that one from down low. A little bit of side spin on the return from KUAIMAN. We've seen the feeling throughout this match. Little clean there with the shoulder. I like that. Oh, blasting backhand. Weight forward. The balls of the feet. Cho Yi-ke, Coco. Personal coach for Sun Ying-sha, so when the fans see him up on screen, they often go crazy. Wouldn't be surprised if it happens next time. Good recovery early on. KUAIMAN had a long way to go after playing a little strawberry side spin early in this point. Here's the recovery for me. That was very casual. KUAIMAN was midair for it. So it took one more shot from Chengxingtong to stretch her the other way. Serve success. 5 out of every 9 for Chengxingtong. And then 36+% for KUAIMAN. So Tongtong with the big advantage there.
3-4.
Serves are usually to your advantage, but we saw a match earlier today that was shockingly just not the case. Wang Manyu and Miwa Harimoto. They'd prefer to be receiving the way that match went.
Net 3-4.
Heavy spin, KUAIMAN. You could hear the contact. It's amazing how much of an indicator sound is. Right off the bounce on top of it, keeping up the pace. KUAIMAN. The Kwai forehand here. Super fast. Ooh, edge of the table as well. Fortune favoring the bold here, taking her chances. Right to the baseline. Love that sound. The back of the opponent's side of the table. Good opening push, short stroke counter, but perfectly placed into the middle.
7-5.
So I know many would love to see this match continue regardless of who wins. I actually have a friend who loves KUAIMAN just because she thinks she looks like a panda. Parallel here down the line. KUAIMAN 3 points up in what is a must-win game. It will be that way for the rest of this match. Tongtong takes it back after some serious combination play. KUAIMAN in the start of this point, does everything right to keep it awkward. And then regaining control. Chongqing, it's a tug of war. Sometimes you know when you're on your heels, and when you can really just sort of dig in and take control of the point.
Seven, eight.
Spinny as can be. Timeout not called. Really? No coach here. If there was a coach, I feel like it would be a must. Timeout's called much later. There it is.
Timeout.
This for me is a sign of maturity. Remember, players have a lot to focus on. When you have a coach, you let them focus about that. Sometimes players will call the timeouts on their own anyway. Coaches, after all, do want to make sure that they're not calling a timeout against the will of the player. Could be distracting even if it was turned down. So a lip-licking match. Some time to try and save it. She's down 0-2. KUAIMAN looking for the plan to extend and move on to the semifinals. So Chongqing just keeping it cool out here, getting herself prepared, staying dry where she needs to be to make sure that nothing interferes with her vision, that she feels fresh, like a kid on the first day of school with new sneakers, sharpened pencils and a notebook with nothing in it but maybe your name. She comes back to the table, 1 point down, ready to start the new school year here. Soft touch. KUAIMAN shuts down that third ball attack. It's been a while since I've talked about the table itself. I love this table, and it really knows how to respond to spin. The ball does not slide, so that backspin really dug into the table and paid off.
9, 8.
Little roll reversal from their last encounter. Chongqing on the comeback. She's been here from, 5-8 down? The touch play, hot potato, passing it back and forth, and no one would ever take a bite. You first. No, you first. No, you first. Wait a sec. What about... Oh, and it's baseline. She was just too deep there. That's a quality push from Chongqing. In the serve success, KUAIMAN less than 40. Chongqing with almost 150% of that. Possibly exactly 50%. Thinking about something else at the time, but it's game point now. What? Exactly 150. Either way, getting the hair out of the eyes, making sure that everything's clipped back. It's game point, KUAIMAN. As fast and fluid as can be. Water like the Bruce Lee jackets. Underspin this time just a little bit deeper. Chongqing has the confidence to go for it. Deuce. Game number 3, alternating serves until one player has a 2-point lead.
Net 10-all.
Fast long serve and not bothered. Chongqing keeps it cool. It's what she's known for, her cool demeanor, her dry sense of humor, her smooth strokes. And she's come back to earn herself match point. The push was so good into that deep backhand corner, and Chongqing is through. She will meet Wang Manyu in the next round. We've got a semifinalist from Chongqing here today. She gets her revenge on KUAIMAN. 10-5 was not enough to get to Game 7 in Singapore, and here without a game drop despite a very strong performance in Game 3 from KUAIMAN, Chongqing using that 6-year experience advantage to close the door on the world number 4 once more in the Final Four. Scoreline on screen, 7-5 and 10 was all that was allowed. A total of 22 points to the 34.